good morning, and good morning. Someplace, I don't know where it happened. I ended up having I don't know if it's a sinus reaction or something, but I feel good, but I have a little congestion stuff going on. But anyway, I just decided that this was a day to talk about um, sometimes we need to go and check ourselves out when something's wrong. And yesterday was my day for my mammogram. Good morning, Maurice. It was my mammogram day yesterday. And, I said, oh my God, what excruciating disgust. Smashing and pushing and carrying on. And I was like, but this is important. I need to get back to saying to some other people like myself, it's time to go and get that done. But man, it could be, prostrate issues, women, breast issues, cancers, and all kinds of things that affect our bodies that we don't always pay attention to. So, my question this morning was, how many of us have fear of the doctor? Sometimes I do, depending on what it is. Um, Let me put on my glasses this morning. Sometimes I have those anxiety, thinking, I don't want to go, but I do. It says I'm always afraid of a machine getting stuck while I'm in that thing. Yeah, me too, Debbie. Good morning, Joan. So anyway, going to the mammogram yesterday, I went in there, all happy, and they smash you so much. And I left feeling pain, and I said, but this is why we end up having a little kind of conversation with ourselves. I'll put it off. I'm going to go. I don't know when. And so I was given like 2 weeks. I was supposed to go actually last the end of last year, but they could never, every time I called, they could never get me in. So anyway, I finally went. I feel I'm fine after the procedure, but the procedure sometimes is what scares us. It says sometimes I don't fear the doctor, but the anticipation for the results. That too. I may fear the procedure and the results. It may be a double whammy for me because, I know for myself, I am a cancer survivor. So I've been through all kinds of stuff. So every time something goes wrong, like I have a mole, and I am a person that has moles everywhere, always have been. But some, and the young lady that was working on me yesterday for the mammogram, she said, I was given that life sentence too. And the irony of it is I thought that they would stop at a certain age, but I still have them. They still come, and then I've had like multiple, of them taken off and they come back. So anyway, that is my plight. It says, what scares me is the fear of the unknown. Me too, Debbie. It's just sometimes things are just not you just you don't know what's going to happen, but you got to go. So anyway, even though I'm giving you this, like I'm not afraid, I have fear. I'm gonna be honest, but I go because we're always going to have, you know, little anxiety about, well, what they're going to discover. Like last week, I was all excited because they said, well, there's nothing wrong with you, blah, blah, blah. But then, I go in yesterday for that exam, and then I end up having this sinus thing today or whatever's going on. And so that was like, well, wait a minute. Did I get sick going in, or, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I have this poem that's kind of like a cute poem, and it kind of says a lot about who we are when we don't want to go any place that has anything to do with us medically, if something could be wrong. And it's called Sick, which is today's word, by Shel Silverstein. And Shel Silverstein was this author, this great poet that always could do things that really excited young people to want to read. Almost like anything that is whimsical. That's him. That's him. So it's called Sick. It says, "I cannot go to school today," said little Peggy Ann McKay. "I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash of purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more, that's 17, and I don't think my face looks green. My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched. My ankle sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold. My toes are numb. I never sliver in my tongue. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbows bent. My spine ain't straight. My temperature is 1 to 8. That's funny. My brain is shrunk. I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is what? What's what's that? What? That you say? You say today? Saturday? Goodbye. I'm going out to play. So this young lady decided that the school was a way to avoid, and therefore she was going to play sick. Many of us do that for our work. We do that from even going to the doctor. He said, "No, I'm too sick. I don't feel like I want to do that today. I can't go. I can't go to the doctor because I got something else going on." So for me, even though I didn't read this yesterday and did what I was supposed to do, which was go to the doctor, it is funny. But how many of you have come up with a reason not to go to the doctor? A reason to not deal with something that has made you sick? Well, now they have so many remedies that I'm almost even scared of the remedies. In fact, the guy that does my plumbing work came in and did some work for me the other day. And when he came to the door, I didn't know him. And I said, "Oh my goodness." And he said, "Yeah, diabetes and the medicine I'm using," he said, "was messing me up. And I had been using it for a while. And then all of a sudden it turned." We don't even know if the medicines that they're giving us, how long will they work. We don't know anything. All we know is we have to do something. We have to do something to address our our inopportunity, because it's not an opportunity to be sick. It says, same here. I am a mold covered individual. Yes, you and I both can say that too, Joan. So sick. It says, what is sick? But before I'm asked about sick, I'm gonna ask you this: are you stuck with not going to the doctor? Are you stuck with being sick? What you think? What you think? It says S is sit still. I like that. Sit still. No, go to doctor too. So anyway, S, I like your S. So sick is affected by physical or mental illness. It's one is ill, one is unwell, one is poorly feeling, ailing. It says indespondent, bad, out of sorts, not oneself, too weak to drive. Okay. Now, I've been sometime too weak to drive. Bluntly, I have survived cancer twice, so I fear another return. In doing so, I will avoid it at times. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do too. I do too, Angela. And yes, Maurice, it stresses me out. Yes, I try to safeguard myself, but on the other hand, there you go. And Debbie, yes, scared to death. And I think once you've had a really, traumatic experience with your health, you're always concerned. You're always worried about What the what? Just what the poet was saying. What is that? You're telling me what? We don't want to believe the fact that we're ill. We want to always go on. The least little thing. Now now I've had friends in the past that the least little thing, like the hangnail, they go to the doctor for the hangnail because they were just on the opposite side of, not going. They went all the time, and the doctor was like, "Okay, hypochondriac just has to be here." Sad. Yeah, sometimes being sick makes us sad. We don't know how to deal with it. We may be sensitive to it, yes, but I'm gonna stay. Sometimes it stresses me out. Sometimes it scares me to death. These are all the things that you've written. Sometimes it makes me sad when I think, oh, I gotta go over there again, because you give you those checkups 3 year, every 6 months, and then they go to, once a year, and then once every 2 years, and they stretch it out the longer that you stay healthy. But it's scary. It's just a scary thought, you know. So when I go to my S, for me, you all wrote schedule, sad. Schedule is good. That's a really good, security and knowing. It is. That's true, Maurice. Stay tuned. That's me. Stay tuned. You know what? When I think of sickness, I think of my feelings. So for me, it's sympathy. And it's not that I want it. It's just that I'm worried about will anybody be around if something goes down. That's what I worry about. Spending. That's good too. Um, for me, sympathy, feelings of pity. When I've been sick, I remember periods of time where I felt sorry for myself. And so, even though I didn't actively seek it, I wanted enough sympathy from somebody that they would certainly check on me. And thank goodness I had people that did. But sympathy for me says feelings of pity and sorrow for one's misfortune. It's commiseration, it's pity, it's condolence, it's solace, it's support. And that's what I was looking for. Where's my support? And I think once you get older in years, you're always worried about, well, if this happens, what am I set for this? Am I set for that? For the longest time, I did the long-term health insurance. And then I found out that I didn't need it based on the way I'm set up with the military and veterans, um, divisions. So I really didn't need it. But when I went back and tried to get my money, guess what they told me? Well, whenever get, to a point where you need it, it's here. They never gave my money back. Okay. And it was like, I don't know, by that time, it was like $25,000. So sometimes you never know what you need to know about how to take care of yourself now, but plan for later. Because to me, that's not sympathy. That needs to be smart. You need to be smart at some point of looking out for your future. Seasonal. Yeah. Sometimes things come up seasonally, like allergies and stuff, like ragweed and certain things outside, grass. Like I'm allergic to a lot of that stuff out there, but not going to keep me in my house. I got to go, When I look at my eye and I move on, I look at my eye. Look, what'd you put for your eye? For my eye, I put down ill. Let's face it, it's just basically when we are sick, we are ill. When someone's sick, they're ill. It says they're not in the best of health. They may look peaky to you, sickly, ailing, infirm, indisposed. It says they may look liverish, not oneself. It says they may be invalidated, queasy. All these things talk about the nauseous. I've been to people's houses and, tried to help them during, their sickness. And I get sick trying to help them, especially if it's certain things that they have to do. but I'll do it anyway. I'll do it anyway. I just have to separate myself a minute and do what I do. But it also says that the person may look frail. And, I always worried about that, as people, get sick. Sometimes they also lose a lot of weight, you know, and I always said I wanted to be a certain size to my mother always talked about having fighting weight. She said, don't be overweight, but you need fighting weight because, ailment comes, you need to have the ability to drop like that 10, 15 pounds and it's still okay. But if you're already down to skeletal, you can't afford 15 and 20 pounds. So for me, let's see, somebody wrote improvise, okay. And sometimes we do improvise when we're sick. We improvise it. What's wrong with us isn't wrong with us. We said do this. You said no. They that didn't happen. They didn't say that. My mother was good. When my mother was sick, she was good for saying that. The doctor didn't say that. He did. She said he didn't tell me. I said, well, he told me. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. When we move further on in the word of sick, I look at care. The care that we're given when we go to the doctor and the follow-up after that, the treatment that we're getting at our house. If we've had an operation, and I've had so many eye operations that, sometimes I've had to stay at other people's houses just to make sure that I didn't run into anything. But I'm better now. They finally were able to fix some of the issues that I had with my eyes. Circumstance, that's good, because we certainly have to look at our circumstance when we are sick. Who's going to take care of us? When we need to get back to the doctor for follow-up. What time do we take our medicines? Who's going to administer them? Can we take them ourselves? All that kind of stuff. So clarity is good, because I think you need to be clear on what it is that's wrong with you being sick, and then how you follow up, and then the consequence. Ooh. And sometimes Joan is plural, consequences. Because one thing happened and another thing and another thing and another thing. It just happens like that. Sometimes we don't even realize that we've been more affected by something going wrong than right. Conflict, scheduling, a brother, a bother to others. You ain't lying. Come on with it. Come on, Angela. That's what I always worry about. If there's something that I need done and I can't do it, how to not feel guilty about asking somebody else to help me, even though I'm a server. Sometimes we're servers for others, but we don't know how to let ourselves be served, because we also don't know how to tell anybody what's wrong and how to work on it. But I get it. I get it. So that is really good. Constrict. Yeah. Because we are constricted if we are, home, no one coming by, and we need certain things done. That's why a lot of times when I worked in the hospital with the unit, with the counseling unit, one of the things we did was discharge planning. So we would actually plan out, how is this person going to be able to go home? How? What do they need? What constitutes what is necessary for them to leave the hospital? Do they need oxygen? Do they need, 24-hour care? Do they need, an aide to come in and do like bathing them and cleaning them up and changing clothes, that kind of stuff? But that's what I did. Counseling. Oh, come on now. Because some people do need counseling services in order to continue, living life, only because there's something sick in their head, or the body has gotten sick enough where they need to carry out plans. What do I do next? How do I do this? That would certainly work with that. But I use care, and I said the care is the provision of which is necessary for health, welfare, maintenance, and protection of someone or something. So there again, I'm talking about who will care for us when we are sick, And so part of that means that we need to set those things up as best we can, you know, before something happens. And it says care talks about, are we in safekeeping? Do we have someone that's in our best interest in terms of our supervision and custody? Because we may be out of it for a while. We may, after we've had surgery, they said, well, she's going to sleep a long time. He's going to not be coherent for, 24 hours or whatever. So whose care are we in? We need to be concerned about it. Then it also talks about protection, keeping us safe, control. Because, I used to have to do things like when some people were going home because they were in those states, we'd have to put like a temporary power of attorney. So then we'd have to get the legal department involved, and then the form signed by the doctors, the family, and of course, the patient. And generally we did that before they went under, any kind of anesthesia, which made them unavailable for sound judgment. But then it also talks about when you have care, it's talking about someone's management. Let's face it, at times we need to have somebody else manage for us. It's this character of the individual who are caregivers. Come on now. Because sometimes you got to question who left her, who left him in charge. It is what it is. It says also there's with care, you're looking at guidance, tutelage, who's orchestrating how things are being done, responsibility, who, if something happens, who's responsible after that? Who's the next person? Who do I go in charge with? And then, of course, interest. And lastly, attention. How much attention is really being given? And is it accurate? Are they doing the right thing? We don't know. We never know how people are going to react, especially if it's long term. This morning I was watching TV, and the actor Bruce Willis has a form of dementia, and his ex-wife was on, but she's his caregiver, and the family, and they're talking about, as caregivers, how sometimes it's so lonely, it's so much work. It's a lot of work when a person is present only as physical presence, but mentally they're no longer there. How do you address that? Not making sure that they're properly dressed, that they're safe, that they're sound, that they're not, lost outside someplace, or, having taken a car and they really have been told that even though they can't remember, but you've been told they can't drive. So all those kinds of things, because their distant memory is good, their current memory is not. They can't tell you if they just had breakfast. So to me, that brings me even to my last word, which is what I used the other day, which I used the form of it. It's kindness. How do we know during our sickness that we will get kindness from anybody? How kind, and then how kind will the patients be to the people that are trying to help them? It goes both ways. Kept, yeah, that's true. Knowledge, yeah, because I believe you also have to be aware and conscious of what's going on with the person that might be experiencing sickness, what's going on with them. So, for me, when I would help people, it was trying to know what happened, what they need, what medicines they're taking, what time they take them, what food they should avoid or have, all those things. Those are part of the kindness thing that a caregiver would give. So kindness for me talks about the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. That's kindness. And it says it's the kindliness and the goodwill and the affection that people would show to others who may be going through illness. It says it's the concern they give. It's the consideration and the thoughtfulness. It's the sympathy. So there's that word again. It's compassion. It may even be hospitality because they may not be in their house. They may be in your house. You know, it says it's the ambiguity, amability, excuse me, the generosity, the indulgence, the patience, the tolerance, and the decency. All those things speak to our kindness. So not only do we need to be kind as much as we can in our sicknesses that we may be having, but we need to be kind to the caregivers. And then they need to be kind to us. And sometimes I believe after a long period of time and there's no respite for the caregivers, I believe that's when you see issues come up where, they're tired, they're worn out, they're, they've been, in some instances, especially if you have a person that may be aggressive in their illness, that may be just taking a total on your ability to want to be there, and your kindness wanes. So when we really look at the whole concept of being sick, it comes with what I would call things that hang off of it. Not just the fact that the sickness starts it, it's all the things that come with it. So I think we should do our best, just like you all are saying, to consider, for me, I don't really want the sympathy, but I want to know that if I am ill, that someone will care enough to be kind to me. That's me. I want that. I would love that. And that's what I do for others. If they've asked me to do certain things, I try to be there for them, you know. So I have a friend now, she'll call up and say, "Hey, can you bring me some soup?" Yes, I can. You know, can you stop by and pick me up a health smoothie from Everman's, which is a health food store here? I do, because I'm giving what I hope is the seed that I talked about earlier that plants it, that I'm sowing something for tomorrow, that somebody will do the same for me, just as I'm doing for them. Long distance care, that's not easy either. Long distance caregiving is not easy. I did it with my mother, and it was not easy at all. Because when I got her on the phone, she was cool, but I knew what time to call. I had to call her about 6:30 her time, which was 5:30 my time, because otherwise she'd be gone, dressed, babe, dressed, gone for the entire day, and she didn't come back upstairs until later on. And she, the building that she lived in, she was, they gave them lunch. She ate breakfast upstairs, but then lunch was given to them. So, I agree with that. It's hard to do it if you live elsewhere. So certainly you can call and you can check on them, and even the thing of the FaceTiming and all that, those are great. Those are great to let people know that you love them, but then you got to get them set up for it so that then they'll remember to know to open it up and do it. um Caregiving of both parents, yeah, you did both of that, Joan. I know you did. But anyway, that's my word for today, is that it just, every once in a while, I'm just pricked with something that just says I need to address that. So I'm going to say this: if you know that something's wrong, go to doctor. Anticipate that you may be have a little anxiety. If you don't, that's wonderful. I do, even if it's something as with a mammogram. I just, because my doctor had told me one time that my cancer that I had before and breast cancer are related, because my sister had died from breast cancer. So you're constantly thinking, okay, I'm faced with this again, that I got to take this test. But obviously, I'm a praying woman, so I done prayed it up before I went. And once I get my results, I'll be doing another thank God. Well, I thank God because I got out of it, and that was done with her making me stand in all those crazy positions. But I did it. It says caregivers of both parents. Blessings and love to all. Blessings and love to you too, Joan, and everyone else. I can see your parents showed you nothing but love, because, baby, look at you now. Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Debbie. Debbie is my private supporter. She give me money on the side. I give her money on the side, so we'll say good things about it. But she's just a lovely little woman that I've known for years. And yeah, she did me right. My parents did good by me. So look, y'all get sick, call me. I help. I help. With that little boy you say I help, I do it. There's a long commercial that tell how old I am, but y'all forget that. But anyway, you all have a great day. I'm gonna see you on Friday. I'm gonna be over this little allergy thing that's kind of come up, and I don't feel bad. I just sound funny. But I love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. Appreciate you all coming in. Don't do anything else. Hit like, love, and share. I appreciate it. See you soon. Ciao, bye.